We got a based on a true story movie for you, and this is a very subjective claim because they basically took a premise and made a movie loosely out of what they claimed was based on a true story. 1974, this is Steven Spielberg's first theatrical release. Prior to this, I've reviewed his first full-length feature film, which was made for TV movie called Duel. That movie came out a couple of years earlier, I think 1971. This movie is... where's my notes on this? 1 hour and 50 minutes long, and the main character for this film is Goldie Hawn, and she plays Lou Jean Poplin. It is based on a real-life event in Texas. Him and two other people wrote a screenplay for this film based off of a real-life woman named Isla Dent and her husband Bobby. In the late 60s, she went to kidnap back her two children who had been placed in the care of her mother. So this movie kind of takes that story and runs with it, right? So it is a $3 million budget. It was filmed throughout the state of Texas, and Universal Studios considered it a box office failure, pulling it from theaters after only 2 weeks. It managed to only make $12 million in the 2 weeks that it was in theaters, and they didn't view this movie as a success. So do you wanna take it up from here? Because there wasn't a whole lot.
First of all, I just want to mention something totally unrelated. But if you like this sweatshirt, I bought it for myself as a Christmas present. And it is from a website that I like called Love and Faith. So Google Love and Faith. I think it's loveandfaith.com. Anyways, I just wanted to give a shout out for that. Not sponsored yet. Yes, this was a mildly entertaining movie, and it sounds like the original story was different in a lot of ways. They changed all the names of the main characters. So Goldie Hawn, I guess in real life her name was Isla. In the movie her name was like
Lou Jean or something.
Lou Jean or something like that. In the movie she goes to visit her husband who's like about to be released from
He's like
jail,
4 months away from being released in the movie.
What was it called? Pre-release?
Yeah.
And so she's like, oh, I don't want to wait another 4 months. Like, you have to come with me now so we can get our baby back. In the movie, they just make it about one kid, not two kids.
And the kid had been placed in foster care by Child Protective Services because the Lou Jean character had also done time in jail. And so the county had deemed her an unfit mother.
Speaking of mother and being summoned. We're
making a movie here.
Come here. We're in the office. So, anyways, I guess it makes it kind of, I don't know why they changed it to just one baby, but in the movie, it just seemed more poignant to have it be about one baby and have him be pretty small, I guess. I don't know why, so they changed it to that. And her character is just basically terrible. She just makes really bad decisions.
The husband was like, I've only got 4 months left. Let me serve my time. And she's like, no, I'm breaking you out of the jail, which was kind of like very low security because he was about to be released anyway. And then they hitch a ride with this elderly couple who had been visiting their son in the same facility. And then
And they pretend like, they were visiting the same boy, like they were visiting the couple's son too. And the elderly dad is like, yeah, I don't know what happened to my son. Like, I try to raise him right, but he's just like a bad egg or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's just sad because, like, they hijacked the car of this elderly couple.
It's like a late 50s. I think it's a 1956 or 57 Buick. And it's got a terrible rod knock. And they're driving on a highway going only 25 miles an hour. And they get pulled over by a Texas state trooper. And that's where the real movie really starts to take off, right? So then they go on a high-speed chase with this piece of junk Buick that's on its last leg. And they end up crashing it down into a ravine. And the state trooper in this movie was portrayed as being a rookie. He'd only been in like 9 months. And so he goes to survey the accident and they get his gun away from him. And then they kidnap him and make him use his patrol car to take them to Sugarland, Texas, where the kid of the Goldie Hawn character is in foster care.
Well, it's both of their child, isn't it?
Thus the name, the Sugarland Express.
I was under the understanding that it was his son,
in the movie,
too,
it was both of their kids. In the real life story, it was the woman's 2 children from a previous marriage.
Which doesn't seem as, important for
poignant.
him to get the kids if it wasn't his kids. And I don't know. I can see why they changed it. But in the movie, it's just like pretty sad. I don't know if this was supposed to be like the moral of the movie, but I guess the gist of it that I got was that from like something kind of a small, well, not really small. I guess it wasn't small, him breaking out before he was supposed to, but basically breaking the law like one time or doing like something wrong once can really snowball into a really, really bad situation. And also a moral of it that I got out was to have patience, because if they had both just waited the 4 months until he was able to get out, then they probably would have had a better chance of like getting the kid back and not having to run from the law the whole time.
Should we give spoilers? It's a 50-plus-year-old movie.
I think we already did give spoilers.
So the husband loses his life in the end over this situation where, if, like, Nicole, you're saying that if they could have just been patient and waited the 4 months, they could have had a completely different scenario.
Or he'd be alive.
Instead, there's this violent altercation, massive destruction of property. I didn't look up how many police cars were destroyed in this film, but it kind of had a very Blues Brothers feel. And I'd also like to note, just browsing at the back of the box, so Goldie Hawn had won an Academy Award in 1969. So she was an Academy Award winning actress from her performance in the movie Cactus Flower, which I have on VHS and I have yet to review. But I did find her performance poignant, and she would just, and then you were mentioning that she's the mother of Kate Hudson.
Yeah.
Who's more attractive, the mother or the daughter? It's like a Lorelai and
she was cute.
A
like,
Lorelai and Rory situation.
Like there's a point in the movie where, and it was funny because I was just commenting, like, I wonder how long it's been since they've both showered, because they've been like on the run from the law. And
she still looks pretty dang good, doesn't she?
No. It was getting pretty bad with her hair situation. And then like people from the community give her like curlers and like hairspray or like leave-in conditioner, or I don't know what it was, but anyways, she's in the back of the car doing her hair and she manages to make it look really good.
You like the casting in the movie? I liked all those Texan type of police characters. They were all, and then it kind of showed the mercy of like the police captain, where he's like, I don't want any violence, but then the Texas Rangers were like, they had like 2 elite snipers ready to just like shoot this guy and kill him, right?
That's what I found surprising, was that like, he hadn't killed the main like outlaw guy. He hadn't killed anyone.
Yeah.
He actually wasn't really portrayed as like a bad person.
No.
This was another moral that I got, was actually a biblical thing, that bad company corrupts good character, because if he hadn't married her, he probably would have been way better off, because like
she brought him into a really bad situation.
She made him do like a lot of bad things.
Yeah.
Or, like it snowballed into them having to like kidnap this officer whose name was Maxwell, by the way, and I appreciate that because
that's the name of our youngest kid.
We named our baby Maxwell, but anyways, it wasn't his name in real life. But
side note, this is the first collaboration between John Williams and Steven Spielberg, with Williams doing a soundtrack.
The music was good.
This is also the first use of the 35mm Panavision camera.
Okay.
And this did not really sidebar, even though this movie was pulled after only 2 weeks in theaters. So again, this movie came out in 1974. I'm looking over on my shelf to see if I see my copy, and I can't see it.
He won't, because he's got too
many
DVDs
have no organization.
to look through.
A year later, Spielberg's breakout film Jaws is released.
Oh,
so this is not like
Jaws was
ground.
A big deal.
I never even knew about this movie until recently.
I feel like this movie could have been better. Like, it needed to pull out your heartstrings somehow a little bit more, and there needed to maybe be like some comedic relief in it. So it was a very serious film.
This movie kind of fits into a very similar genre. Is it the best chase film out there? No, right? So in the 70s, recently I just reviewed Vanishing Point. That's another car chase movie. Excellent film. Is it as good as another movie that came out 2 years prior to this, directed by Sam Peckinpah, 1972, I believe, The Getaway with Steve McQueen and Ali McGraw? That's another kind of similar genre. And then even 1967, Bonnie and Clyde, directed by Arthur Penn, I believe. I didn't take a note about that. That's another kind of car chase movie, although that's a period film in the 30s. Okay. They're all kind of like...
Was it period correct?
This was just taking place at the time that it was supposed to be. I think it was supposed to take place in around 1969, but the movie came out in 74. So Rotten Tomato critics liked the movie. It's got an 87% critic average on Rotten Tomato. IMDb 6.7 out of 10. That's kind of more aligned where me personally I'm at. And then the big one for me is over 50,000 members. Audience members submitted their average on Rotten Tomatoes, and that average is 66%. And me personally, it was a fun movie. It was an enjoyable movie, but to me, it's not my favorite Spielberg movie. I'm going to go 3 out of 5.
Did Spielberg do Raising Arizona?
No, that's the Coen brothers.
Oh. Well, completely unrelated then apparently, but Raising Arizona
it's kind
was
of
a better movie.
And I mean, I could see the parallels though, right?
It kind of had a similar vibe with like kidnapping somebody, except for they kidnapped a baby.
Yeah, and she wanted to have a child. So yeah,
it was because this couple had like 8 kids or something. They had like octuplets or something, and they were like, they won't miss having
the Arizona quintuplets.
Anyways, apparently that has no. Well, the movies kind of came out at around the same time.
Not really.
No, not at all.
Raising Arizona came out in 1987, and this movie came out in 1974.
Okay,
so
then a few years pass by and you get a better movie.
So,
but if you're looking for a formula for a really good movie, this is missing a few elements. So I'm only 3 out of 5.
Sorry, Steven Spielberg.
It's entertaining.
We love you, but it's not your best film.
You can tell why it was one of his first movies that he made. A little work, but he got it right eventually.
And Jaws to me was like his big breakout film.
And E.T.
There you go.
Which I haven't seen in years.
We have it on video cassette. So
I have a friend who wouldn't let their child watch it because they thought that it was
too scary,
maybe demonic.
Were they homeschooled? Probably.
No, she was not homeschooled, and she's now extremely wild.
All right, folks, that's a wrap. We're gonna review another movie
here nor there.
Next time. We got
Love and Faith.
We got
Trust in the Lord
next
with all
on the
your heart.
docket. We'll review Total Recall because I wrote that review over a week ago, and it's been at least 2 weeks since we watched that film. So that's up and coming. Until then, we'll see you later.
Bye.